Hello friends, welcome back to Money, Business and Finance with Sawan Kumar, and today we are going to talk about something that every business aspires to. Every business wants to scale, and we are going to talk about scaling in this video today. We are going to know how you as a business can scale, what stops you from scaling, and why should you not be scaling, and also why you are doing a mistake if you are not scaling today. Why you are doing a mistake if you are not scaling today. So let's start with this last question. Why are you doing a mistake if you are not looking at scaling today? With the kind of opportunities today that we have in the market that we never had in the past, can you just imagine? Today we have the global market for our products. Today we are not our products or our business is not limited to any small geographical area. Today, if we want, we can take our business to huge levels with an infinite number of customers, an infinite area of geography, and so on. But still, we end up not being able to scale our business. So what exactly stops us from scaling our business? What exactly is the problem, and how can we scale our business? If I talk about the problems about scaling of the business, they are two primarily. Number one is most of the businesses are so much dependent on the business owner, so much dependent on the personality of the business owner, on the mind of the business owner, that the business does not exist or basically ceases to exist if that business owner is not around. So basically it's not a business, it is a business owner doing some business. There is no business identity separate from a business owner, and most of the small businesses are less of a business but more of a business owner doing something to earn some money. So this first thing that has to be done is separate business from the business owner. Build a business which, even if the business owner is not around, the business keeps growing. Now this brings us to the system. Without a system, this cannot happen. And most of the small businesses that wants to scale but is not able to scale is because they do not have a system within their organization, a system that makes the business function without having the business owner. Basically what happens is, it is the business owner who is the heart and the soul of the business. Once you take out the business owner, the business collapses. But if you have a system that the business has of its own, it does not now require the business owner to act as the heart or the soul of the business. Now there is a system that would be working with the business, and the business would grow even if the business owner is not around. And this is what interests me. I was a lazy person by, you can say I am a lazy person by mind, and I try to do things in a faster way, keeping the same quality or in fact improving the quality. If I have to do any given task twice, I see how can I do it in a better way the next time in lesser time that I spend. So the same was my objective when I chose what business I would be getting into. I figured it out whether I can scale it. Is that business model scalable? Most of us do not even understand that, whether my business model is scalable. If it is not scalable, no matter how much of effort we put in building the system and taking the businessmen outside the business, it won't just work. So we have to figure out if my business model is at all scalable. If yes, then how can I scale it? What are the things that I should be doing it? How I should be building the systems? How I should be having good people, so that one day my business gets to a point where it can now survive without me. And that is the time when I can now replicate and grow multiple times. That is what scaling is all about. If I am as a business owner the only salesperson in the business, I take care of all the marketing and the sales and every activity that is important for the business to sustain. I cannot multiply that because I cannot multiply myself. But the moment This goes into a system, and now I have a marketing team, a sales team, a CEO, a CFO, a CMO, a CTO, a CIO. I can now multiply these people. I can have a region-wise CIO, CTO, CMO, CFO. I can have a country-wise, or I can now have different teams, different number of teams for the same operations, depending on how much I want to scale, how much I want to grow. So that is what makes it more important for us to understand that if we want to scale the business, we need to separate it from the business owner. And this is where most of the Indians, or most of the people who are stuck with doing small businesses, they are not able to leave the business. They just try to be so much into the business. They think that nobody else can do the work that they do as good as they do. Nobody else can do, and they just cannot leave that function. They think that they are the best salesperson, nobody else can do it, so they would never leave the sales thing. If they are a technical person, they would never leave the operations part, which they will have to understand. Yes, agreed that you are maybe not maybe there is no replacement of you. Maybe you might not get the same best quality, but even if you get a little less than how you are, but you can teach him and you can train him, now he will become as good as you. And now you can replicate the same. Build down the processes, train him, and now he will be as good as you. Maybe not he is you, but he is as good as you. So that is how the scaling works. Now let us talk about the steps of scaling. How exactly should we start with the idea of scaling any business? I will give you 7 steps today, and tell me in the comments or ask me your questions on scaling if you have any. The first step of scaling is to think big. You need to start thinking big. If you want to scale, when we talk of scaling, it is not taking my business from $1 million to 1.1 million or 1.2 million. A 10% or a 20% or a 30% growth is not scaling the business. I have a 10 employee company. I hired another 2 people and then another 2 people over a year. That is not scaling. Scaling is when my business grows exponentially, and for my business to grow exponentially, the sales or the turnover is increasing by 200%, the number of team employees is increasing by another 100%, and that is where the scaling comes in. I am replicating. So if I had 2 marketing people, I now have 5 marketing person. If I have 5 sales people, I now have 25 sales people. If I had 20 operations guys, I now have 100 operations guys. So that is what scaling is. So scaling always happens exponentially, and this exponentially is what I'm talking about when I talk of thinking big. You need to think huge, not in terms of what your society or your friends think, but much beyond that. You need to start thinking exponentially. You need to think, if your business turnover today is $1 million, you need to start thinking of $100 million. If you are already at $100 million, you need to maybe start thinking of $100 billion, $10 billion, something of that sort. You need to think big if you really want to scale your business. If you think of scaling, you have to start thinking big. Number 2, you have to start taking risks. You need to take risks. Risk is one thing that will help you scale. If you do not take risk, you can never ever scale. You need to understand this to the core of yourself, that you have to take risks to grow, to have to scale and to grow exponentially. If you are growing in a linear pattern, 10%, 15%, 20%, then you are not growing. Basically, you are just taking care of the inflation. That is what exactly I say to my team when I speak to them. If you are taking a salary hike of about 10% or 20%, you are only taking care of the inflation. You are not growing. To grow, you need to grow exponentially, and you need to start taking risks. Makes sense? Number 3, you need to not pause with small victories. Like the story of the tortoise and the rabbit. The rabbit lost because he paused to celebrate his victory, a small victory, and took rest. So you need to stop celebrating small victories. You need to stop getting happy about some small milestone that you achieved, but you have to keep your focus on the bigger thing, on the bigger idea. that you ultimately want to achieve. You cannot stop, you cannot pause, you cannot take rest until and unless you are actually able to build a business that grows exponentially, that you can scale to whatever limits you are able to or you want to. So you should not be taking rest, pausing, or waiting for somebody else. Next is number 4, that is to start working on your business. As a business owner, I know I have been managing a 5% team, 10% team, 15% team, 20% team. How difficult it is to leave the core function that you are working on. You just think that you cannot leave that function because your team does not deliver what you used to deliver. But you will have to stop doing that. You will have to stop working in your business if you really want to scale. You have to start figuring out how you can work on your business so that you get a different view of the business, so that you can now build systems, so that you can now build a quality assurance team, you can have a operations team, you can have a separate sales team, marketing team, and then you are working on the business, taking an eagle eye view of the business and improving the areas that needs improvement. But you are at no point working in your business. This has to actually move gradually, but that has to be your target. If you are presently spending about 10-12 hours working in your business, you need to gradually decrease it from 10-12 hours to maybe 8 hours, then to 6 hours, then to 5 hours, 4 hours, 3 hours, and you need to increase your hours that you are spending working on your business. So you need to differentiate between working in your business and working on your business, and you need to reduce the hours that you are working in your business, and you need to increase the hours that you are working on your business. The next is be a leader. You need to be a leader. You need to act like a leader. You need to function like a leader, and that is what a leader does. You need to lead a team. You need to lead a team of motivated people who are ready to work hard, people who are ready to grow, people who would queue up for you, do anything for you as a leader. You need to take the leadership position in your company, on your company, and in your market. You need to dominate. You need to be the force. You need to have that kind of an energy, that kind of a focus that nobody else has in your market, the market that you are in, the business that you are in. You should just be the best. So be the leader. Next is be honest. Before you build a system, before your business operates with hundreds and hundreds of teams or employees, you need to do one thing, and that one thing is be honest. Because that is something that is gonna spread to your entire system. If you are honest, your system would be honest. If you are dishonest, your system can never be honest. So you need to understand that this is really important. Most of the people at times business owners think that, okay, I can be a little dishonest, but my team cannot be dishonest. That is never gonna happen. If you are dishonest by 5%, your team would take it to 10, 15, 20%. So do not be dishonest with anything, with any of your commitments, with any of your promises that you make to your clients, your customers, your employees. You cannot choose to be dishonest, because there's another problem with dishonesty is that you forget what you promise. You forgot what you said yesterday. But if you are honest, if you are truthful, you need not remember what you said yesterday, because truth does not change. But the false things that you said yesterday, the false data, the false figures that you gave yesterday might change today. So you need to be dead honest about it. The last but not the least, find ways to increase efficiency, find ways to increase productivity, find ways to increase profitability. Only then you can scale. Because if you keep scaling, that is, if you keep increasing the number of employees, if you keep increasing the areas that you serve, but if your efficiency is not improving, if your productivity is not improving, then your profitability won't improve. And if your profitability does not improve, then you would one day get burdened by the costs that are coming up by scaling, and you would get burdened by the losses. You need to make sure that you are consistently working on increasing the efficiency, the productivity, and ultimately the profitability when you are looking at scaling. Without that, scaling does not mean anything. Just growing the team from 100 employee to a 1000 employee with no increase in profits does not make any sense. It's better you work with a 100 employee team. Then the scaling things does not really matter.
So what you need to focus on is to improve the efficiency, improve the productivity, and improve the profitability. So let me quickly have a recap of the 7 points that we learned right now. Number 1 was think big. Number 2 was take risks. Number 3 was never ever pause to celebrate your small victories. Number 4 was start working on your business rather than working in your business. Number 5 was be a leader. Number 6 was be honest, dead honest. Number 7 was continuously work on increasing your efficiency, your productivity, and your profitability. Make sense? If not, ask me in the comments below any questions about scalability, about your business, and I, Sawan Kumar, will be helping you with all your questions. Have a great and a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.